Hey, welcome everybody to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. Woo! Rocking it on. Are you guys enjoying it? Man, I think we're kind of lucky to be in this position with the markets at the moment. So I hope you guys are enjoying it too. It is pretty cool. It's a bit better than what we might expect at this time of the year, given everything that's happening. So welcome everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. And of course, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Okay, let's get into it. We've got a couple of people in the chat already, so we're going to catch up with them. We've got Living on Crypto. Good to see you, Living on Crypto. Dirty Paws as well. We've got BC in the house. Well, yeah, party time. Definitely party time. We got Release the Band. Someone hoping someone can help explain accumulation here. Heard it mentioned a few times and don't quite grasp it. I did respond to your comment on the video there, Release. So you can check that out. That's got a good explanation. Cool. Yeah, never mind. Just read the Hex comment earlier. Yeah. To the moon. That's definitely the way. Mr. Cypress in the house there. Woo! Good to see you, Mr. Cypress. Christian as well. Hello, family. Good to see you as well. Hit those likes, his chance nicely. Definitely smash the likes, everybody. Now, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. We covered Pulsechain, Pulsechain, and Hex. The primary topics, of course, Richard Art and golden tokens. But we also cover a lot of other stuff in crypto. After all, this is a crypto channel. Mr. Cypress in the house. G'day, mate. Good to see you as well. G'day. If you're living down under in Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, welcome to you. And of course, we're going to get into it, folks. Stock market, crypto news. We're going to get into Hex, of course, the Hex ecosystem. We're going to get into Maxi, and of course, the Hitron HSI stakes, Hex HSI stakes coming up. We're going to look at the new website out as well, called HexModel, and that should be cool. And then, of course, we've got a few other top topics as well. Pulse Bitcoin, and BNB pot and the Hex daily stats. So we've got quite a few things to talk about. I thought I was going to sneeze there for a second, and way to go. Let's get into it though. What else we got here? The stock market there today. Dow racks up gains as solid Apple results revive tech bids. Remember, last couple of days we've been smashed by all the other tech stocks getting having bad results, and so here looking really good here with the Apple results. So very nice. Let's have a look at the markets. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials, the top 30 industrial firms in the United States. That's currently up 2.6%, a really nice gain. 828 points up to 32,861. Like I say, I think we're pretty lucky to be in the situation with the markets at the moment, given the rising interest rates. Yeah, I think there will be a reckoning, and possibly that might be November, and we will see. And of course, 2.46% increase in the S&P, up 93 points there to 3,900. Now, all the tech firms, of course, in the NASDAQ is up 2.9% or 309 points to 11,102. So very bullish risk on day for the stock market. We got the volatility index is down 6%. So that's really good to see that. And of course, the dollar index there is just up slightly to 110 versus the trading partners as well. And of course, we've seen the separation in the exchange rates due to the interest rate rises in the US. So we've seen that play out definitely in Australia, New Zealand, places like that. Definitely the exchange rates weakened dramatically versus the US. It's good if you're taking crypto off the market into fiat. It's bad if you bring fiat onto crypto if you're in one of those countries with a weaker exchange rate that's trending weaker. So this is the way it goes. The commodity there, of course, let's have a look at commodities. We've got Brent oil up 82 cents or down 82 cents there at $94, and West Texas there down 70 cents at $88. So that's a nice little reprieve there. If we look at the last month on Brent oil, a month ago we were at $83. We reached a high of about $98.40, and here we are currently at about $95. So that's kind of just slightly towards the top of the range there. Obviously, the OPEC cartel, pulling back the oil. The other thing, of course, the US using up its reserves into the midterms there. Bit of a strategic play, no doubt. All right, so cool, keeping that prices down. We've got gold up down $17 to $16.48. Silver down 27 cents down to $19.22. And of course, that's pretty much it for the market. So cool. We're not going to go through the bond markets or anything, but we'll have a talk about that in a second. The Dow delivered swashbuckling gains Friday as a rally in Apple on solid quarterly results revived investor appetite for big tech, just as the bets at the Federal Reserve reining its aggressive plans to hike rates, gather rates aggressive plans to hike rates gather momentum. I mean, I write these so crazy. But anyway, so what I was going to say was next Tuesday, we've got the interest rate rise, the 2nd of November. That could be particularly rocky next week. I wouldn't be surprised if we boom out of that. That's the least likely outcome. So just away we go. But we've entered the weekend with a very bullish green weekend. That may bode well for crypto. We will see. Or maybe the crypto will turn negative over the weekend in anticipation of the interest rate. So we will see how we get on with that. Now let's have a look here. They got the Apple rose more than 7% after its third quarter results topped estimates, lifting the broader tech sector in what has been a horror show week for big tech earnings, and certainly has. We've been having red days. iPhone demand was relatively strong despite the macro with a heavy iPhone 14 Pro Max seen in the quarter. And of course, though cut its target price to the tech giant from $200 to $200 from $220 for the old Apple there. Amazon, meanwhile, moved off session lows to end the day about 6% lower after its third quarterly revenue fell short of estimates. The Q4 2022 operating income guidance from Amazon came in about $1 billion lower than expected at the high end of the range. So that's pretty interesting there. Tech was also helped by an Intel-led jump in chip stocks after the chip maker's quarterly earnings topped Wall Street expectations and outlined plans to cut costs over the coming years. All majors, ExxonMobil and Chevron led the charge higher in energy, with the duo reporting better than expected quarterly results. In other news, Elon Musk completed his $44 billion deal to take Twitter private, with the billionaire hinting at the completion in a text saying the bird is free, which has pretty much gone viral with that one. The bird is free. So we're going to talk a bit more about that when we get to crypto, but that's kind of very exciting. A very exciting step in the right direction. How far that it goes is another thing for freedom. Rather than Twitter being a left-wing hellhole, it's going to be opened up for freedom, which hopefully we'll see a lot of people that were banned unfairly and mysteriously get back on there too. Hey, looks like we've got a super sticker there from Ryan. Big $50 from Ryan. Appreciate that, Superman. Nice one. I'm going to do Superman bow down for that as is custom on my channel. So a big thank you to Ryan there. And I think we can actually see that. Bam. Well, nice one. I really do appreciate that, Ryan. Thanks for supporting the channel. And woohoo, let's get into it. All right, so let's have a look at the 10-year interest rates here. The US 10-year Treasury yield, it ended the week back up above 4%, despite economic data showing a slowdown in inflation, encourage further bets of a less hawkish federal. So it's very important. So the 10-year rates went up over 4% again, despite economic data showing a slowdown in inflation and encourage further bets of a less hawkish Federal Reserve money policy action. Man, these guys, they write some pretty crazy stuff. The core personal consumption expenditure price index, the Fed's preferred inflation measure, which excludes food and energy. Always good to get to know core inflation versus headline inflation. Headline inflation includes food and energy. So the core, which excludes it, rose 5.1% in the 12 months through to September, slower than the 5.2% predicted. So a nice little beating expectations there on the inflation. Consumer spending, meanwhile, remain robust, growing faster than expected in September, underlined by falling gas prices. The other thing, of course, there has been talk about a lot of gas, energy shortages as well in the US coming up. So we could have a bit of an interesting time after the midterms, which I think is the 8th of November is the close of the midterms. The Fed is expected to hike rates by 75 basis points or 75 points next week, but many believe that the central bank could hint at slowing the pace at rate hikes at subsequent meetings. So next meeting, of course, is the 14th of December. We've talked about that a lot on this channel. And we may get a 50 basis points. We may end up at 4.5% on the federal funds rate. That's kind of where we might end up at the end of the year. And man, we just hope that they don't go any further than that. There's always been the mild idea that maybe February might have 25 basis points. But let's hope that we end at 4.5. That's pretty high anyway, right? That's the absolute terms. It's pretty high. And of course, we could see residential interest rates rise from about 7.3%, 7.5% or higher with these extra rate rises, right? So it does have a following on effect that does have a lagged effect on the real estate. We already see real estate market already being impacted by high interest rates. So it's something to think about further on. We expect the FOMC to deliver a fourth 75 basis rate hike in its November meeting and indicate that it could soon be appropriate to step down the pace of hikes. I think that's probably a fair assessment. I think there's nothing really changed in there. I think we might 75 basis points and then 50 basis points, and I think we might finish there. Hopefully, that is the end game. Organic, of course, inflation coming down a little bit organically, and then of course they can hit their 2% target a lot closer. So I think that's the way to go. Now, the one thing, of course, is they have a dual mandate of inflation, but they also have employment, right? But they're willing to trade off a bit for that too. So we may see slightly higher unemployment. So that's what kind of where we get into this heavy recession. Now it looks like we are pretty much, maybe 90% banked in a recession for 2023. But as long as, and we have seen that their monetary supply, the M2 monetary supply we looked at yesterday, that is actually negative or moving sideways. And of course, since the beginning of the year, and it'd probably be better for the a softer recession if that was a little bit higher. And of course them dealing with the supply constraints, and that's really the big thing. But of course these guys have caused a lot of the troubles, and hopefully we'll slowly get a new government in the United States with the midterms. So let's look forward to that. All right, cool. Let's jump over to crypto. Woohoo! Let's get into it. In crypto at the moment, obviously green, just like the stock market there. 20,648 for BTC, 1.6%, and ETH at 1559. We've got BNB at 298, up 4% almost. Nice to see BNB finally moving. And of course, we got some leaders there with Atom. Atom up there is up 6.5% to $13.50. We've got Dodge there at up 9.36%. Obviously, a beneficiary potentially from the Twitter takeover from Elon. So a big rally in Dodge this week, haven't we? It's been pretty incredible. So that's a Dodge there. And of course, they're not the only ones though, right? They're not the only ones in the play for the Twitter. We're going to talk about that in a second. AVAX, of course, up 8% as well to $18.36. So there's some standouts there amongst a green day, but looking pretty good. Now, one thing, of course, is next week, will we start to capitulate? Will we start to see the market go down and hit that $14,000 by mid-November? It kind of seems like the scenario. We're going to see how that plays out. I still think that's more probable than not, but we'll find out because BTC is not really cracking that 21K. It seems like it got up to there, and with the negative news next week, maybe we start heading down, and it happens pretty fast. So we'll be watching that too. Sentiment next week is going to be really important from the Fed, so we'll see what happens there. Let's jump over to some of the news in crypto. Binance CEO confirms participating as equity investor in Musk's Twitter takeover. Changpeng Zhao, CZ that is, said Binance had wired some $500 million 2 days ago as part of the move. So some big stuff there from good old Binance. Now, Binance obviously the biggest exchange. And of course, Binance confirmed on Friday that it was an equity investor in billionaire technology entrepreneurs Elon Musk's takeover of microblogging service Twitter. We're excited to be able to help Elon realize a new vision for Twitter. I think we're probably all happy with that. Binance founder CZ said in the emailed statement, "We aim to play a role in the social media." Let me just zoom in on that a little bit bigger there. And Web3 together in order to broaden the use and adoption of crypto and blockchain technology. And this is what I guess Dogecoin's been getting excited about. And of course, you got Binance in there as well. Zhao said in a tweet that Binance had wired some $500 million as part of the deal 2 days ago. Twitter did not immediately respond. So that's the way it goes. In May, Binance was identified in a SEC holding filing, as one of 19 different parties helping finance Musk takeover. It's a lot of people playing in the same game. And of course, a small contribution to the cause. And our initial commitment remains the same, and we look forward to exploring opportunities to grow the partnership in the future. Obviously, looking to get involved with the crypto blockchain side of Twitter. I think we're going to have a huge revolution in the Twitter space, particularly around crypto. I definitely think that looks like it's going to be in play. I think that Elon signaled that. I think that Binance involvement is a big player in that as well. So we could see that's going to be pretty interesting as having wallets and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Interestingly enough, though, we've got Visa late to the game, perhaps. Is it late to the game, did you say? Visa is going full crypto based on its latest trademark applications. And of course, honestly, we want to get rid of all these big players. I mean, they're very useful because Visa and MasterCard obviously have exit terminals, on-ramps, off-ramps all around the world. So obviously the scale is the biggest. But of course, we also want to get rid of these guys because they put their own stupid policies in and controls and things like that. So that's why we like decentralized crypto. Really gives you ultimate freedom. So anyway, they're looking to get involved. Financial services giant Visa appears to be exploring the development of digital wallets for customers based on 2 trademark applications filed with the U.S. Patents and Trades Office. And of course, in October, records show that the Visa International Service Association looking to trademark its well-known Visa logo, referred to it as a character mark there, view to access, store, monitor, manage, trade, send, receive, transmit, and exchange digital currency, virtual currency, cryptocurrency, digital blockchain, and non-fungible tokens there. The application went on to list a variety of activities the company is exploring, the intent to use its character mark, and that this suggests a Visa is exploring options in the metaverse and wants to make sure that all paperwork is in place, but to make its brand, market its brand to visitors in virtual reality. Now, really, we want to beat out these guys and replace these guys, right? So it all sounds really nice, but we want to get rid of these centralized guys and be free. This all basically is taking over more of crypto, and of course that means that that's not good for the rest of us. So just the way it goes. All right, so cool. That's some of the highlights there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they're looking to do sports, peer-to-peer sports, NFTs, all that sort of good stuff in there as well. Voucher systems, rebates, and things like that. So they really looks like they're going full into it, folks, on the old Visa there. Yeah, our decentralized solutions really need to replace, just what we call disintermediation, replacing the centralized entities that are going to move in. All right, cool. That's pretty much the crypto markets at the moment. We're going to get the Hex. Before we do that, let's catch up on some of the comments in the chat there as well. Brazil says, let's go. Absolutely, let's go. Peso Dudes in house there. Happy days. So much going on. Keep your dry powder. Yeah, keep your dry powder there. No sneezing on stream. Yes, Briz. Yeah. Hold the sneeze. Hold the sneeze. Yep. Rango's in house as all. Hey, all. Good to see you, Rango. And, of course, go Hitron, go Maxi, PLSB, IM, go PLSX, Hex, Zen, and Texan, and Wait, and PLN. Man, you've got a pretty diversified portfolio there, Release. Eliza in house there. Hello, how are you? The ultimate strategy, of course, of this channel is Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLS for the win. 100%. We can't wait for Pulsechain. One day closer, as we say. Hope you guys checked out the community poll video I posted yesterday of people's thoughts of when Pulsechain might launch. I had December, January, was it February, March, April was the 4th option, and the 5th option was May or beyond. So it was pretty interesting results. Check that video out if you want to see what the community thinks. We had 440 votes. It was a pretty decent number there. Once again, a big thanks to us, Ryan. If you haven't subscribed to Ryan's YouTube channel, go subscribe. And of course, Epic OG there. One of the things I like about Ryan is his style. He is a styly dude. So big shout out to Ryan. If you want to get some fashion tips, definitely follow Ryan on that one. Crypto BD in the house there. Hello. Good to see you, Crypto BD. Sandy Beach as well in the house. Nice. Hello, Hex Token, everybody from Sandy Beach. Christian says Mr. Elon is taking us to Mars, SpaceX, and many other things, and maybe getting a bit of freedom back. He's up against the big boys though. So Elon is up against the fascists, unelected fascists at the EU. So that's one other thing. These are elites. They think they're better than everybody else. So if you don't believe me, you can go watch some of their videos. Go listen to how they talk. Go to what they write. These guys are nothing but about taking over power, and it's pretty terrifying, to be honest. The other thing, of course, is nation states, particularly progressive nation states, will try and push back on these tech firms as well, making them have to comply to laws that are anti-freedom of speech. So just take that into account there. So there's not going to be an easy road. Definitely is the case there. What else there? Island 369 says, hey, hope you're all having a beautiful, wonderful weekend. Definitely are there, 369. I hope you are too. Intergalactic space travel as well. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, DB Cooper. Imagine going to Mars, though. It was pretty morbid, so I better not talk about it. That's pretty bad. I think we should plug an extension card to the moon and get power there, says Christian. Yeah. I'm not really keen. I know there's plenty of people are keen to travel to Mars and live there for a short period of time, but that wouldn't be me, that's for sure. We're already in the best planet in the universe that we can find. Even all the other couple of thousand planets that they've found that are Earth-like, none of them have the Earth zones. There's about 18 different Earth zones that give us the life and everything else. None of them have any of them. They don't have any of them. So just take that into account. So yeah. Pulse Fusion says, howdy, Superman, love the stream, champ. The future is now. Hex Bank lift and coming. Yeah, definitely. Hex is looking pretty juicy. We're about to talk about it now. We have the Hex chart up at the moment. Christian says Binance got to watch it when dealing with Elon. Well, I think he's got to watch them, to be honest. I think he's got to watch them. Lunar eclipse, November the 8th, midterm election, same day. Sounds like fun, says Crypto BD. That's a nice little insight there. Yeah, they're just greedy. That's true. That's true. What else do we got? Pulse Fusion in the house. They smash the likes, people. Excellent content, deserves respect. Thanks to Hex Token channel. I appreciate that, Pulse Fusion. Very, very nice. Really, Visa? No, says Christian. No Visa. Yeah. No Visa crypto. Yeah. These guys are sneaky, man. They're sneaky. What they do is they offer commercial opportunity, just like the big tech companies do, and then they take away your freedoms after that. So you're already using it. They monopolize the area. And then they take them away. That's what they do. So it's not cool, man. Yeah, I wouldn't raise it if it wasn't a concern, but we do have to push back wherever we are around the world in our own way, because otherwise we lose it, right? You don't use it, you lose it. The way I see it, have a spectrum of more centralized to more decentralized available to the public. People can pick their poison, much like using a VPN or not, Google or Brave. Yeah, the problem with that PSI is that the states are working in collusion with these centralized agencies. So you'll see prime ministers and presidents talking about how they've been talking and colluding with these agencies, centralized agencies, to control people. So it doesn't actually work like that. So I understand market will decide if you have a spectrum, but the problem is that these guys are colluding together to impose a worldview. So that's actually that doesn't hold up, right? So otherwise I would agree with you on that one. Who else is announced there? We got a few other people. Brian's in the house. Good to see Brian. And who else there? I think that's pretty much it. So cool. PSI says being on Mars would be cool about an hour. What the heck will you do there for a month? That's true, PSI. That is true. All right, so cool. We have landed on Mars. What now? Where's the restaurants? I'm sure they're gonna have restaurants one day, but yeah. At the moment, of course, they've got radiation is probably the biggest problem. Anyway, we're a crypto channel. We better get on topic. All right, so here we are. Hex, of course. Hex is at the moment at 4444. Almost a 5555, but we're at 4444. And of course, here we are. What we've got coming up here, we had a little, we got up to about 0.5% up here 2 days ago. What time is it now? Yeah, we're in the new day now. It's a new candle. And yesterday we got pulled back. We got pulled back to, 4.1 cents, 4.16 cents. And of course, then we had a nice rebound today with the good news on the stock market. We rebounded to 4.64 cents, which is pretty good. We've had a low today, though, of 4.097, so slightly lower than yesterday. And we're currently kind of in the middle there, 4.432 now. So we're watching this pretty closely. It'd be a nice little loop. Well, like I said to you, it'd be nice if we could get to 5.5 cents. I think that'd be a pretty good position there. That would give us a bit of a cushion, right? A bit of a cushion. So 5.5 cents would be over this sort of range here. This one here. So about 5.5, 5.6, get us up around here. That'd be pretty cool if we do get that dip in the middle of November. So let's say around here, we do get a big pullback. You know, Bitcoin can just go down, you know, drop $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Could do something like that. That's kind of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about coming down to get to that 14K bottom, or maybe 11K and pray. And of course, that's how quickly it can happen. We've seen it happen twice already this year. So remember that. All right, so cool. This is where we're at the stage. Now we've got a couple of days to the inflation there. So let me actually pull that away. That's probably too far. And this is where we've got the diary. So we've got a couple of days to go, 4 days to go, Tuesday next week for the interest rate rise, 75 basis point, what we're expecting. We've got the inflation rate coming in. So this will be the October results for the inflation rate, and that is the 10th of November. It's 12 days away, 12 days away. So these are the two key items, particularly the first one, though, the interest rate rise. Now, if the inflation is lower than expectations, you know, last time I think it was 8.2%. If it's down lower than that, that could be a bullish sign for people. Yeah, check out my video that I did on financial economic indicators. I posted that yesterday. That's pretty important for the key economic indicators coming out over the next month of November. So you can check that out. Yeah, so there we are. And then, of course, the 13th, we're going to have the Hex HSI auctions, and that's going to be a big deal. And we're going to talk about that in the Hitron at the moment. So we'll talk about that and get your thoughts in there about the Hitron price, what your thoughts are when we get up to that. So that's kind of where we're at the stage. Then we've got the Hex third birthday is 34 days away or 33 days away, depending on when you're looking. And of course, the Fed rate, second Fed rate, the last one probably gets to 4.5% probably on the federal funds rate, and that is maybe 50 basis points. That could be the 46 days away. And that's the last one for the end of the year, 14th of December. That's kind of where we are looking at this stage. Now, the other thing, of course, we're going to look at Maximus coming up and the Poly Maxi when we talk about Hitron. But that's kind of where we are, the major things. Now, will we get Pulsechain V3 in November? I've got question mark, of course, just my speculation there. Will we get that in November? That'd be bullish, man, bullish for Hex. And, of course, I think that's a quick sign, particularly Richard is kind of indicating that this would be particularly short. Now, what's short? 3-4 weeks, something like that. So that's what I've got in here for the month of November. Now, Pulsechain launch, of course, Hopium here as well is possibly December, January. We'll see. We'll see, of course. Maybe it's later. Obviously, the other thing that's out there, the wild card, is the Uniswap version 3 license. And I can't remember exactly when the date of that is. I have to double check that. Let me know in the chat if you remember what the Uniswap version 3 license, when it becomes open source. I kind of thought it was February or March, but I can't remember exactly. I'll have to double check. If you do know, let me know in the chat. And of course, that is a wild card. But at the moment, I would suggest that they've got for the AMM bot, they've got approximations for the approximation model for that anyway. So let's see what happens there. It is asymmetric, remember, or partially asymmetric in terms of liquidity provision, because you can provide one side of the liquidity pool for Uniswap V3. That's kind of where we are at the moment. So Hex looking pretty good. I'd like to see it to get up to 5.5, 5.6 cents. That would be pretty cool. I don't think it's going to happen over the weekend, but man, if it did, that'd be a pretty nice spot here. If we get a little bit of a pivot from the Fed, that would be really nice. That would probably mean that we have a better chance of holding up here. If we got an announcement around V3 testing sometime in November, that'd be pretty nice. Although that might be later. So this is speculation there, just a placeholder for the Hex. Let's have a look at the Hex Whale bot. We've got 3.6 million Hex sold 14 hours ago. Bought 14 hours ago for 148K. So it was nice to see. What else have we got there? 3.4 million bought 7 hours ago. So that was pretty nice too. I'm not sure if there's any comments on that. Oh boy, they're buying again, boys and girls. So that was about it on the comments. What else there? So 2 big buys. And then we had 5 hours ago, 3.8 million sold, 174. There was a few traders in here too. You'll take that into account. Oh no, you didn't. Yeah, true that. Close the door. This is the cat. That's pretty funny. That's a pretty funny one. So cool. Wrecked. Oh man, that's pretty sad. That is pretty sad. So there's a bit of fun stuff going on there. Hey, we got even Cabana Crypto there. Guy made 12.5K on the trade. Yeah, so a little bit of a trade going on there. So that's pretty much it for the Whalebot. Let's have a quick look at the Hex stake, global stakes. Let's go out where we are now, October. Let's go out till October next year, or September. September. Let's do that. Almost a year. This is almost a year here. So we've got big candle, 534 million Hex coming out on the 1st of November. We've got some couple other candles that are over 300 million. That's that white line there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by January that are over 300 million. And we've got this one big one here, 534. We've got a big gap here in February, March next year. So a big gap at the moment, but a lot of these will just end up restaking and, of course, fill up the gaps here. We've got some candles here under 300. We do have, by the time we get to July next year, we've got 407 coming out there, and we've got this one here, 620. So no billion candles anymore in the next year ahead. And, of course, unless all these ones here decide to jump on top of each other at the same time, that's about it. So there we are. We've still got the front of the wave, but the wave is getting smaller over time. And, of course, these guys, just large holders, just keep restaking, scraping interest, or reinvesting that depending on what they want to do. And that's what we see at the moment. So cool. There's the global stakes. Now, I mentioned that we're going to have some of the OG stakes coming in here too. And, of course, we've got OA stakes as well. I think we had a couple come out just a little while ago. So they're out there too. I think you can find all that stuff on hexfire.io. I think it is Hexfire. It's Hexfire. I always have a problem opening that site for some reason. All right, so cool. That is some of the highlights there. Let's close out of some of these sites, and we're going to leave that one open. We're going to get to Hitron. Now, if you want to leave your comments about Hitron with the price action, this is, yeah, I did a video on Hitron price prediction. I've been doing pretty well of my calls up to this point, but this first, I had two parts of this call. The first half was up to the 2nd of November, and the second half call was after that. My first half call has been wrong, and so that's just the way it goes. And we're currently at 3698. Had quite a bit of weakness here. We broke down the resistance there, and of course the log chart here was showing here. So that's a log chart support. We even broke the log chart support as well. That is the linear support there, and obviously we're down. Now we did get down to current day down to 3456, so actually quite pretty low, and we ended up breaking out of this pendant as well. This pendant, which was our last bullish sign there, and of course then we also broke through the cup and handles as well, and so forth. So all our bullish scenarios all got beaten down, and what we saw was quite a lot of users just selling. Yesterday we also saw people minting, people that still had plenty of minting power, minting and just dumping. So dumping 100k, minting, dump, and we ended up getting down to here, the 3698. So kind of weak. Fortunately we managed to hold this 3392. We held the 3992 here. So that's kind of good. That was kind of our last support, really. We broke down to that, and that was who knows where we could have gone down here. We got down to 3392 was the support. So we did slightly bounce ahead of that, but a very curious point at this stage, and excludes my writing. But it was kind of maybe we'll get this sort of carry on going on like that if we were able to draw properly. If we could draw. That's kind of where we are. I don't know if you've ever seen people draw circles. Have you ever seen people draw circles with the thing? There's no way I could draw a circle. I've seen people go like this. They draw this beautiful circle, but mine would be like this wiggly line. The wiggly line would look like something really weird. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at the stage. Now, obviously, we got next week, we've got this Fed interest rate rise on the 2nd. That's going to potentially give some more trauma. So Hitron really not performing that well at this stage. Now, remember, it's kind of like a buy and a burn, right? So we expect a certain amount of buying. And then we got the new candle there started as well. The new day candle just popped up there. We've got, then we've got the big burning, right? So all the Hex HSI auctions that are up for grabs that got sold to the Icosa contract will be up for auction. And of course, we're expecting over 67,000 T-shares. You can see that here is coming up here. So this is up on the 13th of November. So we've got the first Fed rate, then the inflation hike, and then of course we've got the big event. Now, are we going to the second phase? Are we going to see this play out with a big price acceleration? At this stage, it's not looking likely. I mean, it's looking less likely, I should say, because this is a pretty bad start here. Now we can know things can turn around pretty fast, like here. The price chart can turn around pretty fast, so that may very well happen. We still have higher lows in here as well, but we have broken that uptrend. So we've still got a few little bullish indicators, but other than that, we will have to wait and see where the market heads here at this stage. Next week could be pretty brutal, and then maybe we'll have a late run in the Hitron price here. Let me know what you think about that. And maybe we'll have a late run, maybe after the 4th or so. So let's get into Maximus. Maximus is also a key bullish feature. So we've got to talk about the chart. We've still got some bullish features adjust in the chart. Just we've got high lows, and of course didn't breach our 3,400 mark there. But we're also coming into the beginning of November, which is around here, we've got Maximus launching. And of course, we've had some updates here. Gold key, of course, we talked about this yesterday, minting the front end there. Maximus will be a liquid ERC20 token that you can be able to trade at any time. Poly will be backed by multiple HSI Hex stakes and a Hitron stake, meaning every day it will be gaining back value in Hex, Hitron, and Icosa. So that's from the from the Maximus team. Now, yesterday, of course, Dipcatcher went live, creating the Maximus front end dApp. So continue to do that. So that was pretty cool. And then, of course, these will be the Maximus DAO assets. Poly team-based trio, Lucky, Desi, Maxi. These guys are pretty much building the ultimate diversified, optimized portfolio in terms of the Hex ecosystem, that's for sure. This is 21 hours ago. Dipcatcher said, push the ball forward on the Maximus minting dashboard today. Shout out to Gold Key for the design file, and a huge thanks to Corey for hopping in the chat and helping me implement some new CSS techniques to make it look just right. Building in public is awesome. So that's really great from the team. And we can see a cool little image of the minting. So we're expecting this in November. 11 days to remain to mint 1 poly per 1 Hitron. They're probably going to keep it open as long as they can. But there's the pledge there with the Hitron. All you have to do is put a Hitron in and you get poly out. That's it. That's it. You don't lose the poly is the ownership token for the Hitron. So it's pretty cool. And of course, you get the vote on the Hex HSI bid as well with the 90%. So looking cool, nice and simple, nice and clean coming from the team there. Many asked when poly official launch date will be announced. This 20 hours ago. Official launch date will be announced after we complete test phase and pass our security audit. Remember the security audit we saw yesterday was going to be expected back on this, I think it was the 2nd of November there. Our aim is to launch before the Icosa liquidation auctions beginning November the 13th with as much time as possible for the mint phase. Get your Hitron ready. So that was cool from the team. We've got a little bit about Maxi there. We're going to jump through that. That's pretty much it for the Poly Maxi and looking good. So that's coming up. We'll probably have the same date. So next week, maybe Tuesday, they'll probably get the audit back. And of course, they've got to do public testing there as well. Obviously, seeing the UI getting finished up there. So yeah, I think the mint phase will be in here. And they'll probably keep it open as long as they can, maybe up to about the 11th or 12th or something. And then they'll be able to go live for the bidding. So very exciting. Remember this, the big thing up for grabs. Let's see how many days away we are. We're only 14 days away, so 2 weeks to go to this big event. Will we see a big turnaround in this price? We've still got a few upward looking measures and let's see where we go to. Will we get those big rally in the price? It's like a buy and burn, but the buy is not inevitable. The burn is probably more likely to happen for sure as people bid on these T shares, and of course all the Hitron that wins these HSIs gets burned. It's a massive burning event, particularly with this amount of T shares up for grabs. It's going to be a big deal. 0.64% of total T shares, 521 million Hex there as well. So a big day there. 2 weeks away, folks. The Hex HSI auction bonanza. Now, what are some of the upside prices? Well, we've got the all-time high. We've got the local high here at 6,300. The all-time high here at 7272. We've got the 10,000 mark here. So if Hitron decides to lose a zero, you can imagine we'd have to have some pretty steep candles. But this is crypto. We can do it. We can do it. Let's see where that happens at the moment. Definitely a harder ask from here with a very lower start than I would have expected us to have. But that's kind of where we're at this moment. So cool. Now I think I had the 1.68 golden ratio from using the Fibonacci was up at 12,000 here. Let's see if we can get to there. That'd be pretty impressive. That's what almost a just under maybe a 2.5x, a 3.5x from here. That'd be the upside from my view. But let's see whether we can try and attack the all-time high in that time frame. It seems like a reasonable ask. If we have a look at this challenge here, maybe we might get a reasonable ask there. But definitely people have not been buying. There've been more sellers than buyers at the moment, and the chart shows you that as well. All right, cool. Let's jump over to the Dev. This is kind of the latest stuff there. So with the Hex HSI stakes, we've got Dev Hugh who's been providing really nice good information flow, good use of Web3 and things like that. So nice to have another Dev around. And of course, that was the update that we've got with the statistics there. Obviously, reports on the Watts being burned. I imagine that November is going to be a huge burn for Watts NFTs. So if you're last man standing, I think it's going to only improve for you in terms of the Watts NFTs. We had some more burn as well, so people are burning them already. But November, I think, is going to be a big burn event as people try to capture Icosa value, and we'll see how that plays out. Now, obviously, 21 hours ago, Dev Huey launched the Icosa HSI website, ready to launch Friday the 28th October there. So it's really exciting for them. Now, obviously, that must have been pretty close to launching. In fact, it has launched because we've got the website up. So there we are. So that's kind of cool snapshot there. And let me just jump over to here as well. So 3 hours ago, dropping the website link at 9 p.m. UTC time, 2 dashboards for HSI auction data. Probably doesn't view well on mobile, use desktop. If you like the website, consider donating to his Patreon to help fund hosting. I always laugh when people use Patreon because it's one of these centralized platforms that censor free speech. If you're in crypto, you would think that you would be not using platforms that curtail people's free speech. And but people still do it, right? So there we are. 2 dashboards for HSI auctions data. So there we are. If you want to support Dev Huey, get into that. 2 hours ago, mobile optimization is on the to-do list. And of course, HexModel there. So a little bit of insights there of, I guess, people using the website already all around America and, of course, in Europe there. So it looks like a little snapshot there of the website. So that is pretty much it from that. And, of course, HexModel there. Let's go check out the website. I'm going to paste in, let me paste Dev Huey's Twitter if you want to follow up Dev Huey and follow Dev Huey. Particularly if you're going to be bidding in the HSIs, either with you're following the Poly story, you're participating with them, or you're going to bid yourself. You can check that out. So there is Dev Huey on Twitter, and there is HexModel.com, his new website, which is fantastic. It really is great. So let's zoom in on this a little bit here. Hopefully that's maybe not zoom on it. We've got the Hex is coming in, Icosa and Watts are coming soon home there. I'm so glad to see Dev Huey move this direction because I've been wanting it for some time. I think you guys, I think I might have mentioned it a couple of times on the channel that I wanted something like this. So this is pretty cool. This dashboard is showing the Hex state instances sent to Icosa contract. The data is not live, so recent HSIs may not be included, but will be updated regularly. And of course, we can see the chart here. Now, this chart has 2 things. It shows the T-shares on the left-hand side, so 25,000 is the top of the T-shares here, and it shows the day, every day coming in. So we've got the 15th of August here. We've got the T-shares and so forth. So I'm not sure what happened with the date here on there, but that would have been the date, actually, the date that the Icosa was, that these were sold to the Icosa contract. That would be what we're looking at here. The other thing, of course, you can actually look up state Hex as well, so you can swap from T-shares and look at it from the Hex state, and therefore you've got the total amount of Hex stake there as well, which is pretty cool. We'll jump back to T-shares though, and the other thing, of course, these colors, the blue means that there's just got the base Hitron payout, whereas these other colors show the first 100 days when the Hitron launched, they had a 10x bonus. So every 10 days, over 100 days, it would go from 10x down to 1x, and it pretty much the first 10 days was 10x, then the next 10 days was 9x, etc. So people were able to capture those if they so choose, right? So they had to claim those bonuses, and this is what these bonuses represent. So that makes them more valuable, right? Because you got a 10x Hitron bonus on top of the Hex that's inside the HSIs, so it makes them more valuable. And so those are probably, generally speaking, be more valuable, right? So people can offer more in the auction for those. So we've got a 10x here. We've got the 9x there. So it looks like 9x, 10x is pretty juicy in there. And the 8x as well. So you can see these ones, the 8, 9, and 10x are pretty big. We've got lots of base ones here, just with base Hitron, the 1 Hitron per B share per day served. So that's kind of your base there. Now it's got a cool query. You can query all sorts of stuff here. We're not going to be querying any of this, but you got stake Hex, stake days, stake T-shares, mint days, unlock days, launch bonus. So you got all that in there. And of course, here is the first day. This is coming up on the 13th November. And of course, we will see that this is what people are going to be bidding on, right? So you can see there's probably 35% of the total T-shares. Remember we said that there was 67,000 T-shares, 67,000 T-shares. Well, look at about a third in this first day based on this diagram here. So about 35%. So there we are. That's where we are at the moment. And of course, you can see 20,406 T-shares with no bonus. With the 10x bonus, 2,357. So obviously it's going to be probably more juicy. People will be wanting these even more, particularly the Poly Maximus are bidding on these. So that's kind of cool. But the cool thing is that you can see every day after we've got more T-shares up for grabs. So the second day, I guess it's the 14th of November, we'll have 3,000 T-shares, 2,200 the following, all the way through November. These will all be up for auction. So they keep going and going and going, which are pretty cool. If we switch that to the Hex side, let's have a look at the Hex side there. We can see that's all going to be pretty cool. So what's that, about 200 maybe 180 million Hex up for grabs at day one. So 13th of November and so on. And it keeps going there. All right, I accidentally clicked on it here, but there we are. All right, so cool. You can actually click on the chart here. It will bring up the table here as well. So these are the top stakes here. We've got 55555, 5,555,555 is up for grabs. So you can see the individual stakes here. It's got a 10x bonus. You can see all these other large Hex stakes here in the millions with the 555. So lots of T shares in them, but they don't have any bonus, any launch bonus here. It's just the way it goes. I wonder if this 5555 is Randy Alasky with the 10x. I wonder if that's Randy. But anyway, there's 6,500. 6,500 of these folks. There's a lot of them. So let me just miniaturize that. 6,539 HSIs that have been sold to the Icosa contract there. It's a lot. So there'll be a lot bidding in there. Now, obviously, there's around about 90 that are over $1 million or something. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I think it's 198 million or something like that. About 90 of these T-share stakes that people will be after big time. That are going to be a big deal. So cool. That is pretty much it. So you've got the links to that. Now, obviously, where are they going to be? So this is the Hitron DApp. And of course, there's no liquidation auctions at the moment, but there's going to be a bonanza soon. So typically there might be a couple of HSIs every so often that are up for auction. People default. Remember, you can buy your Hitron against your HSI stake. And of course, if you default, don't pay back over 90 days, then you go to liquidation. And of course, we can see there's none at the moment. But of course, there's so many of them, I think, that makes this website really slow. But apparently, Alex McFerder is doing a front end tap as well. So he'll be racing towards that. So we've got Polly Maximus racing with Dipcatcher and Gold Key. And then we've got Alex McFerder as well doing front end. And then we've got Dev Huey here as well doing some stuff, getting ready for the big auctions coming up there. So pretty cool. Looking forward to it. So that is where the price is at the moment, 3688. And we'll see where we get to here. Let me know in the chat there. I'm going to jump into the chat in case people have made any comments about that. Let's just jump back to some of this. Let's get back up to here. I think we got up to that. Blobfish King says, hi, I'm all here late. Get that Hex, says Blobfish King. Absolutely. No, says 369. PSS is great, but if we don't allow major players, then crypto will die. In my opinion. Hey, look, they're going to come anyway, PSI, but it's just about the users, right? It's about the users using them. That's all I'm saying about that. We're going to build them, says Christian. Absolutely, we are. Build them and they will come. The wild card, says Briz. Yeah, the wild card, that's definitely still in play. Wild card played out once already. We're going to see possibly different versions of the wild card play out there, Briz. I just think that old finance government needs to be involved in some aspect of crypto for it to go mainstream, and most of the people won't care that it is. That's true, PSI. Agree with that. Uniswap V3 will be available open source April 2023. Yeah, that would be interesting. So that's some people are using that for an argument for a Pulsechain being launched at that time of the year. I hope not there. I hope they use approximation. I think that's will probably be a fair call. They are just harvesting the ETH pairs, remember. Living on Crypto says building Hitron as soon as possible. Buying Hitron as soon as possible, says Living on Crypto. Nice. What else there? Mid-May, says Briz. Mid-May. What else there? We got KD in the house there. Good to see KD. What else? We've got a few others there. Sandy Beach says, well, I thought maybe Q1 2023, but I can see April or May 2023, says Sandy Beach. Hopefully sooner, of course. Yeah. We've got some hopium in our chart there on the Hex chart. Happy weekend, everybody, from Andrew. There's the website from KD, front running me in the chat there. Nice one, KD. What are your thoughts with big tech will struggle 23? So those traditional investors looking for more tech growth will move to crypto instead. That's true. But we're pricing in a 90% chance of a recession next year. Then that's definitely going to, on the macro picture, impact their growth and stuff like that. Morning, folks. Painting the house this weekend. Nice one, Brennan. All the best with that. What else there? Home from a rainy hike before work, says Bob. Nice to see you, Bob, as well. Let's see here. Bob says early December for Pulsechain launch, says Bob. I like how you're thinking there. I'm thinking like hopefully a Christmas launch would be pretty nice. A nice little Christmas present. That'd be pretty cool. Taking a walk through the hood. It's cold out there, says Christian. Through the hood. That's terrible. All right. Hope you're safe. There. What was that? Hey, Superman, has Dipcatcher made dashboard like app Icosa for perpetuals, yet he needs to make it for people to see the earnings on perpetuals because basic app he created doesn't work. It was working for me. I don't know. We'll probably talk about that in Discord there, Pulse Fusion. I'll have to go through the websites again and have a look. Hey, Superman, love the review, says Dev Huey. I appreciate that, Dev Huey. Great to have you in the chat. And yeah, we really appreciate all the stuff that you've been doing for the community, Dev. Huey, really do appreciate it big time. And Summer Solstice in the house there. What's up? What's up? Hey, good to see you, Summer Solstice. Absolutely. And oh, thanks, Bob. He's resting here, Sandy Beach. Yeah. Thanks, Suitman. Nice and sunny in Australia. Hey, yeah, well, it has been pretty good here. It's definitely warmer in good old Kiwi land, New Zealand. And of course, I think it's a little mixed today. But I will go out for a walk and get out and enjoy that. All right, so cool. That is where we're at the stage. So we're going to watch where we get this little U-turn dip. Let me try that drawing one more time. Let me try the draw one more time. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see. I don't even know whether I can actually change. Can I change that? No, I can't even change that. Let's see if I can do it. Ready? Are we going to get, I guess, let's take it from here. Let's go. Are we going to get something like that? Are we going to get something like that? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. At the moment, I thought we might get something like what I think I was going to get. I think I was going to get something like up to, what's it, 4.8. Yeah, I think I was going to get something like this, something like that. I thought I was going to get something like that, but maybe we'll get something like this. So that's kind of where at the moment. Now, of course, there is a chance that we could get something like that. It could do that too. So we will see. But enough drawing for me because I'm so bad at it. I got to stop drawing. I really do need to stop drawing. It's an insult to people that know how to draw when I draw on this chart. This is the way it goes. All right, cool. So, yeah, there's all the links to Dev Huey. You can follow Dev Huey. He's got 1,465 followers. You can be number 1,500, I guess, is the way to go. All right, cool. And a great website for if you are going to be bidding individually or if you want to watch the Polygon, the Poly Maximus bidding as well. All right, cool. Let's get into Pulse Bitcoin. We're going to come back to that. Hex currently at 4455 on the Hex chart. Let's see where we are on the rest of this. We've got Icosa at $1.46 at the moment. We're not going to go through the perpetuals today. We have done that the last couple of days, so we'll jump through those. Let's go to the airdrops and see how they're going. PLSD, despite the burn, is at $3.704. So some profit taking there from people in the old Pulse Dogecoin. Let's jump over to that. We've didn't get that. We got a double top, but we didn't breach the all-time high. We're 7 cents short of $9.53. We do still have this uptrend here at the moment on the linear chart, but we have a red plane, and we had a bit of selling in here with some decent volume a couple of days ago too. So let's see where this goes. They have got a massive burn though, so let's see. Let's have a look here on the old Pulse Bitcoin DApp. Now, this is a bit of fun for me. I like this one because it's kind of, I think he's done a good job of trying to mirror Bitcoin. Now, I know that Trayvon's More token has 21 million tokens, kind of like a simple version of a Bitcoin. But this one here seems a lot more similar. So I like the way they've done this, to be honest. Anyway, it's 60 days to transform your PLSD into ASIC token, and it's day 8 has been gone through. Let's have a look at the results. 6,094,000 total PLSD tokens, but now 2,687,000 has been burned. But definitely a slowdown, but we have managed to get up to 44% on the burn at the moment. And we have 52 days to go. So still plenty of time to get that burn over 50%. That'd be pretty nice. Obviously, for every PLSD you put in, you get 5 ASIC tokens, which you need for mining Pulse Bitcoin. And we've got 13,177,000 ASIC tokens in supply. Let's quickly look at the mining. People have taken those tokens and put them in the miners. They're currently getting 7.5% reward rate with a 0.25% fee burn on the ASIC. So it is deflationary on the ASIC token that you need for the mining. We've got 4,914 miners, almost 5,000. And of course, the halvening, like Bitcoin, it's going to have halvening. And of course, when it reaches 10.5 million Pulse Bitcoin, which is half of the 21 million total supply, just like Bitcoin. They got 968,000 has been mined by the people. Now they don't get it out until the 30-day period is finished, right? And at the moment, 9.2% of the way until they hit that 10.5 million Pulse Bitcoin. And of course, the first halvening happens in here, which will be a bit of fun. I think everybody will enjoy that. Talk about the halvening coming up there for Pulse Bitcoin. And of course, apparently, if you use ASIC, you might end up having Pulse Litecoin as well. Just like back in the original days, people were mining Pulse Litecoin or mining Litecoin, and as well as Bitcoin. So it looks like you potentially the ASIC will have a dual token purpose there as well. Let's have a look at the ASIC token miner. Now, obviously, let's have a look here. So we can see that you got two things open at the moment. You got the transform the PUSD to ASICs. After this, there will be no more burning of Pulse Dodge coin, so we'll have the final supply, whatever that is. And of course, the ASIC token miner here is running for 30 days, so we're checking through that as well. Currently, it's day 8 of 30, so 22 days left to go to pick up ASIC token. Obviously, you don't earn Pulse Bitcoin, but when you do claim, you claim it like an NFT, just like the What's NFTs, you burn them, you'll get your ASIC token, and then you can go mining, and perhaps in the future, you'll have Litecoin as well to mine, so it might be quite a good strategy. Now, we've got 1,630 ATMs at the moment. We've got 1.1 million points, so about $1.1 million has been raised so far. I think it's $1 for 1 point. And we've got, you can use USDC, USDT, the DAI, RepEth, Hex, or Hitron. It'd be interesting to see what some of this money is used for, this 1.1 million. Will it be used to cover development costs? Will it be used to provide liquidity for Pulse Bitcoin? Will it be used to do market buys? Who knows what it's all speculation, what that will actually do. In there. Let me know in the chat if you've seen anything on that. Now, obviously, Pulse Dogecoin and ASIC tokens are tradable at the moment. And ASIC, of course, should be around about 5 times, should be 1/5 of the Pulse Dogecoin price, right? So, because you get 5 ASIC tokens per 1 Pulse Dogecoin. Pulse Bitcoin, of course, at the top here. There's none trading yet, so don't fall for that. It's a scam if you see any scams there. There won't be any trading for another 22 days. Until the Pulse Bitcoin comes out there. So just don't fall for that. It's kind of that on the market. And at the moment, it's, a little bit pulling back here despite a 44% burn. It's down at $7.04. It's still got an uptrend. It just shows you that there's a bit more factors in the market than that. Now, obviously, people, there's also Hex is rallying. So maybe people are switching into Hex. And buying some Hex, who knows? All sorts of stuff there going on there. Stable coins, maybe the interest rate rises coming up on Tuesday next week. Maybe there's a lot of risk off. Maybe we saw that risk off in Hitron as well. Hitron risk off and Pulse Dogecoin risk off. Maybe we've been seeing that in anticipation of the 2nd of November. We will see. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it. We've got the weight token, of course. People asking, can you claim the weight token? You can. That's open. We've got in Discord. We've got the Pulsechain project. So we have Richard Heart projects. We have Pulsechain. Under the Pulsechain projects, we have airdrop free claims. So this has all the lists that we know of so far. The weight free claim, of course, all the websites, the links here. But to claim the weight token, you need to have sacrificed one of these sacrifices. So Pulsechain, PulseX, Liquid Loans, Mintra, Genius, Hurry Cash, a Fiat, and Internet Money Dividend. So if you've sacrificed for that, you will probably qualify. And you'll be able to claim with the DAP, so you can do that. RH Max, another YouTuber in the Pulsechain X space, has a video on that, so you can definitely check that out, and that might give you a bit more confidence in it. But at the moment, of course, the price, it actually broke down the 0.5 cent mark, got down to 1/4 penny, and is now back up at 0.4 penny at the moment. A nice little rebound there. So some people probably made a bit of a speculative buy on that one too. So it's going cool. Let's have a quick look at the Zen. Zen continues to break down on each chain. They're at what's that? 5.508262 on the BSC chain. They have also, with a weird chart here, they've also got down to 6.08834. A little bit of a bounce back there at the moment. And apparently the Zen has launched on the Phantom chain. I think the last one. So what's that? 8 chains? 8 chains is it? 8 chains, I think. Anyway, so that's where that's at. Like I said, that's a possible play. It's not. We're looking at probable plays on this channel. That's a possible play, and of course, may play out in the future. Once again, some wild card play there, and as well. So there are tens of thousands of projects. So will their multi-chain strategy work? Will the log regression chart function work for their inflation? And of course, maybe in the future, it has some periods where it actually does well in terms of price. We will see. We will see. It's all a possible play, right? Welcome to crypto, folks. Welcome to crypto. Now, obviously, this channel is a Richard Heart, a maxi channel, and the effects that we talk about having most of your bags in the Richard Heart ecosystem for the big X returns, and maybe a little bit on the side to speculate on a few of these, possible plays, but really some of these really cool probable plays, and that's what we cover on this channel. Things that we think are probably going to do well. They don't always play out; it's not certainty, but we're playing probability there and looking at the fundamentals, the sentiment, and everything else that might make that happen, and the tokenomics, etc. So that's kind of cool there. Let's get into the next one, of course. we're going to have a quick look at our Spotlight project. This is our speculative play, but of course, this is the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino. And of course, it's going to take time to roll out. Every month, they're going to roll out new products, multi-chain, all that sort of stuff. And it is actually the first sacrifice out. And of course, the people that sacrificed have made very, very tasty returns indeed. So super successful. If any of the other sacrifices do anything like this, you'd be very happy. I suspect that only a few of them will be able to compete with the X returns that the BNB pot has got. Now, it's not to mean that they haven't had their issues. Obviously, there's attack vectors. When you have a complicated product like this, it is more complicated than most dApps out there. When you have more complicated projects, you have a bigger attack vector. We hear Richard Hart talking about that all the time with Pulsechain and how they want to protect that. Obviously, it's going to be, I suggest, a lot simpler now with the ETH proof of stake fork. So it's going to bode well too. At the moment, we've got $12.60 at the moment. And of course, the website's back up again. Let's have a quick look at the site at the moment. We've got the first game on. We're expecting roulette in a couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. And of course, as more games get on, the revenue grows. And so what are we interested in on this channel? We're interested in the staking. And the staking, of course, is basically we've got a high amount of staked, which means that the profit is shared amongst more people. So the APY is down lower. But as the revenue grows, it should get more juicy there. Now, there will be fluctuations in the market price as we have certain events happen. And like I said to you, the first 3 to 6 months will be volatile. It will offer opportunity, but also it will impact value as well until things settled out there. So we'll be talking about that in the future too. But suddenly 73% global stake, which is pretty nice. And we can already see that we've got 200 BNBP in the airdrop already so far, 13.4 in the lottery, 53.6 in the burn, and a 73% stake. So the global metrics looking really, really good. And of course, the first payouts were paid out early because of the attack vector that they had to cover. So that's pretty cool. And looking forward to the roulette coming in a couple of weeks' time. It's kind of where we are with that one. And of course, if you're staked, you're just earning, you've got a business that's paying you every day. You just sit back and relax. It's just a cool little thing, and you watch the revenue grow. And of course, it's going to be multi-chain as well. So we're looking forward to it. So that's that one. Let's jump over to, let's jump back to the Hex daily stats. I think we've got coming out there. We're up to an hour and 3 minutes. And I think we've got day 161. No, not quite. So we're waiting for day 1061 to come out. So that'll be 28th of October. And we'll wait for that to pop up there as well. If you haven't joined our Discord, the link's in the video description. Get in there if you like good information and good community. Get into Discord. We've got 905 members now, heading up towards the 950 mark, which is pretty exciting. We had a few people, RMC Gary join, Underdogs join. We had a Tiro Hanger Tira in there as well, but it's scary there with the Tiro Hanger Tira there. But we've got a few people in there. Nice one. And of course, we've got great moderators. We've got Brian and Fat Sammy, our community leaders. We've got 10 moderators, KD there, Sandy Beach, and many others. We've got 5 syndicated YouTubers in here now. Craig Whiting from Gen Hex, Hein Crypto, Crypto Heartbeat, Rags to Riches, and of course, yours truly, Hex Token, #Superman. And of course, if you're a Hex Token channel member as well on YouTube, you get a purple colored name plus a private chat down here as well. And then, of course, general members are in blue. So definitely join. The link is in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well and hit the like button. That always helps with the YouTube algorithm as we talk about Hex and Pulsechain and Hex and all the cool projects that are coming as well. Richard Hart is forking Pulsechain. And if you haven't seen that, we're going to play that now before we get into the Hex daily stats. So let's check it out.
I feel that the security considerations for Pulsechain's consensus strength are very, 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 very similar to Ethereum 2.0's. If that makes sense to you.
Makes sense.
We're forking Ethereum 2.0, not Ethereum 1.0. So you beat it out of me, you fucks. You wore me down, okay? So the logic was, do we have more faith in the BSC consensus, which we found flaws in, or rotating to several other options of not very well audited consensus, or the extremely well audited Ethereum 2.0 consensus? And my logic is that if you're going to make things right, doing them during a bear is a beautiful time to do it. And I think it will be quicker to use Ethereum 2.0's consensus than to properly audit and secure Corellia, which is a version of Click, which is what has a lot of problems. And so it was maximum secure and minimum time to market, because we didn't know, like, you didn't know whether the merge was going to work right. Could have not worked right. And you didn't know if they'd ever get to doing it, because the delays were nearly endless.
Yep.
But after they did it, and after it worked right, it was the obvious choice. And so Pulsechain will have upgrades, but be primarily the same consensus mechanism that Ethereum 2.0 uses, but is now called Ethereum 1, right? Like, no one called it's not. Right. Ethereum 2 is now Ethereum 1 since the merge worked. So it's strong. It's safer, it's faster, and any upgrades that come in the future for Ethereum, such as sharding, we will get on our chain. And we wouldn't have got had we stayed with Ethereum 1, because the forks would have diverged. And so it's just better. So we're doing what's better, and it didn't take us any extra time to do it. So it's actually good news.
Right, so that was the update from Richard Hartz on the Pulsechain. So we're looking forward to that. Some people got some dates in here. We've got PSI. What's the next Hex birthday? Could that not be a possible Pulsechain launch? Yeah, sure. 2nd December there, 2022. Joel says, I'm hoping PLS will launch on Hex 3rd birthday anniversary. That'd be cool. Would be. We are expecting a short V3 testnet, though. That's kind of why I've got that in November. So that's our hopium, of course. It's our speculation. I like your airplane drawing, says Hex Token Sandwich. Oh, that's funny, man. I knew you were going to get me for that one, Sandy. Tamanga, it's in how long HSI auctions run for? They go on and on and on. So they start on. They're on every day. But it's what we're talking about is when the Icosa HSI contract started. They started accepting there in August. They started accepting Hex HSI stakes, and so the big date is the 13th of November onwards. And of course, they'll just keep going and on and on. But the bigger ones are going to be on that first day, as the chart showed there from Dev Huey's website, HexModel. Can we see a poll of anyone who owns PLSD as mining PLSD owns ATM or something? I think I did that the other day, PSI, on one of the other channels, but maybe we can pull it up in the future, maybe tomorrow. Just remind me at the beginning of tomorrow's live stream, and I'll put that in there, PSI. I like the miners and ATMs. I'm going to have 4 miners running a week apart, and at the moment, going to improve the miners' position. Weekly PLSB payouts. Yep. Are they monthly, aren't they? They're monthly. And what else have we got there? Jumping through some of these. Jump through all that. All right, cool. Katie says it's all good news. It is good news. All right, let's jump into the Hex Daily Stats. We've got day 1061 hot off the press, 28th of October. We're up 4.2% to 4.4 cents. And of course, we had a pretty good run, though, of price increases, except for yesterday. And we've got the payout 6.162x per T-share. Remember, hex.com, the link is in the video description. Check it out. It was pretty much one of the top performing cryptos in the bull market. And of course, if you had staked, it was probably the best, I think, out there. If you had also staked over 20,000x and stuff like that. So over 10,000x, over 20,000x staking, pretty awesome. 6.162 is the payout. And of course, join our community. That's the way to go. Make sure you do investment due diligence, though. We've got the T-share payout. This is part of the magic of Hex, is the T-share rate mechanisms. And of course, we've got an increase of 6.2 to the share rate, 24,964. So close to 25,000 Hex per T-share. And the US price there, if you multiply the share rate there by the US price of Hex, then you get $1,109 for a T-share. Now, obviously, you can get this for a third of the amount if you stake for 10 years. When you stake Hex, your Hex gets burned, gets off the market, reduces circulating supply, and of course, then you get shares in return. And we'll talk more about that when we get up to the reward pool. We've got the average stake length of 6.67 years of Hex with the APY, that's the annual percentage yield rate, plus yield, that is the inflation rate of Hex, which is normally up 3.69%, but effective interest rate is actually lower than that. Of course, causes some of the mechanisms that we have inside the Hex ecosystem. And emergency end stakes there, the EES is when people early end stake. Penalties are 37.47%. That is the Hex payout. Obviously, the Hex price moves around, but that is the Hex yield. Pretty juicy. And to keep it like that, the Hex contract does certain things. I suspect that we'll have some mechanisms move around in the future years that will change and regulate this APY. So there we are. That's just the way it goes. All right, so the amount liquidity pool, we're close to 200 million Hex yesterday. We're down to 185 million Hex at the moment. And of course, we were up to 13.3 million US dollars in the pool. I like it. I like it a lot, up from 12.5 million. And of course, the ETH is at 13.77, up from yesterday too. Let's have a look at the ownership pool. So Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with inflation and penalties in it. And we have an ownership pool with T-shares, which stands for trillions of shares. If the reward pool or the ownership pool with T-shares goes up or down, then the payout Hex per T-share changes per day. So just remember that. So that's pretty much Hex in a nutshell. T-shares, the ownership pool is down 680 T-shares. And of course, we're down to 10,451,670 T-shares in the ownership pool. So that means there's a slightly bit more, I guess, all things equal, a bit more payout to people that are staking. Let's jump through all the rest of this. You can actually see the minted inflation in this column. We don't often talk about that, but you got all that in there. There's lots of cool details. Now, the link to this site is in the video description, also on our Discord under useful links. You can get access to all these links under useful links here in Discord. We've got everything in here I think you could possibly want. It really has got lots of sites there, plenty of time you can spend hunting through these, all the Hex sites there, Hex information reports, layman guides for Hex, the main contracts in Hex, Hex staking sites, Hex audits, Pulsechain sites, Pulsechain sites, the Sacrifice checker apps, the Richard Hart websites, the market trading for Hex and Hitron, cow swap limit orders, of course, matcher, lots of cool stuff there. The Hex derivative projects, Hitron and Icosa built on top of Hex, Maximus, of course, projects built on top of Hex. All the sites are there as well. I've got onboarding tools for Hex. Everything is in there. You can check it out. All the Hex streamers there. PulseTube, my favorite one there. Yeah, really, really cool. We've got lots of stuff there around sacrifices if you want to check out all those as well. Hardware wallets if you want good security. Just some general stores here around Hex merch and stuff like that. The general stuff, Hex Godwell sites and all sorts of stuff. Ethereum bulk senders. Just some random stuff in there. The Ethereum Power Network, of course, Hex got all copied over to there as well. The Ethereum Fair Network, Hex got copied over there. Got all the sites for that as well. So there's lots of cool stuff in there as well. And yeah, so you can get access to that. Now, also there's Pulsechain as well. So let's not forget Pulsechain projects. And we've got all the links to those as well. So a lot of popular projects are listed here. We've got a Hex Pulse Sacrifices listed there. All the projects, 120, maybe 130, 40 projects are listed on Pulsechain News there. Pulse Police, which check contracts there as well, and so forth, and a couple of extra bits of information. So something for everybody, including the airdrops which people find popular. And yeah, all the ones coming up there, text and token, Kira airdrop and things like that. So you can check that out if you want to try and claim if you qualify. So cool, we've got lots of cool stuff there. Let's keep going through here. Of course, 9.74% of Hex is staked at the moment. And of course, let's have a look at the penalties. 500,000 in penalties today. The growth in Hex up 91 wallets today, or holders. Nice. Stakers up 44, up to 111,244. As Richard Hart always says, get out there, do direct promotions. And a good time for people to get into Hex at the moment. And of course, what else? Holders up 226 to 504,973. We're currently on day 1,062, getting up towards that big 3-year birthday party for Hex. And of course, that's day 1,095. We're getting closer and closer to a month away. And then, of course, we're going to be partying on this channel. Party. That's going to be so good. All right, so cool. That is Hex Daily Stats. Let's see where the market's at the moment. Hex at 4.426. Hitron at 3.685. That's kind of where we're at this stage. So cool, very nice. We're up to an hour and a quarter, which is probably a good place to finish. Let's finish on the Hex chart here and pull that over. And it's a good place to finish with Hex coming up. So next week, the interest rate rise, man, it's kind of that thorn in the side, isn't it? That thorn in the side. But of course, if they hint that maybe they've got what they hint a bit more dovish rather than hawkish, then maybe things will party on. November is, it's going to be an interesting month. It's kind of that month to get through. We'll see how we get on. What else there? PLSB monthly, yep. And what else there? Bob says, end your miner every 30 days, man. But if you start a miner day 1, day 7 days, oh yes, Yeah, if you stagger your miners, then you can get weekly payments. That's a good point there, Bob. Woohoo, Pac-Man's and PSS says, Superman, have you heard of a Tetra and evolution of the Reflection project? No, I don't think I have actually, but I've heard of Reflection, but no, I haven't. I sacrificed for Reflection, says Bob. Nice. I have to have a look at that, says Bob. Okay, cool. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Your host, Superman, in the house. And we will see you soon. Don't forget to join our Discord. I'll see you there. Man, oh man, there's so much is happening, folks. It's going to get more exciting. And I think we're going to have a good time. Good time. All right, so cool. Let me play out a cool video on the way out. Don't forget, I'll see you guys tomorrow again. I've got a couple more short videos got to do, so let me get onto that one. I'll leave you with some of the Highest of Stakes music. 40-piece orchestra for the Highest of Stakes documentary, expected to come out in December as well. I think that's going to be awesome. Imagine if we get some of those big streaming firms. Going to be absolutely amazing. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now. Peace.
This is already better.